Oh my goodness. I think it worked. I think I've finally been able to go live. I decided to click the live button a couple minutes early and make sure that everything works because whenever I've tried to go live from my desktop, it never seems to work. So I'm really glad that I can do this in my office instead of having to do it through my phone. So, welcome everybody to today's live. I would love to know where you are joining me from because I do believe that when we come together um, in a common field of energy, that we all sync up and we affect each other in that moment in time. So, let me know where you're joining in from. I would love to know. Hello, you guys. So I am going to answer some questions for you guys today. So fire away because we've got lots to talk about. And as most of you guys know, I do a monthly check in with Susan Reynolds. We do the psychic and astrological um, tune in, or we tune in for the month ahead and let you know what we see. And the coolest thing is, we don't talk in between and we don't compare notes or anything. I literally click record and whatever comes out. I don't edit the videos. Um, and it's really interesting to see how remote viewing and astrology do line up and that there are common answers that you can all tune into in different ways of retrieving that information. So it's really good to see you guys on here. Oh, I just saw an orb over this way. I'm gonna have to rewind this and and um, and see what that was. Caught it out of the corner of my eye. So, okay, we're gonna start with some questions for you guys. Um, and before I start, let me see here. Hang on a second. I'm gonna put my new glasses on because better. It's got the blue filter thingy, and then my eyes aren't gonna bug me as much. Gotta protect them now that I'm doing, a lot of online stuff. Okay, let's I'm gonna have a look at some of these questions. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Okay, Philly Lotus 3 said yesterday's earthquake was scary. Very interested in what you see happening for the eclipse. So here's the thing, anytime that there is disruption in the earth cycles or something coming in, such as an eclipse that doesn't happen every day all the time, it does create a ripple effect within our planet. It is something that disrupts the field of energy. And the Monday's eclipse, it is the moon moving in front of the sun and sorry, the moon moving um in front of the sun and shielding it from the earth. It's going in between the sun and the earth. And if you think about lunar energy, I'll get to the earthquakes here in a second because I do see ripple effects and I do think there are going to be many earthquakes and we do need to look at the fault lines and things like that because they feel very shaky. Um, but let's look at the energy of it. So with the moon, it is a time of things hidden. And the eclipse, it's hidden coming to light. And if you look at what has come to light recently, even in the media, and I'll talk about that, it's like the dirt. Everything that's been hidden is now coming to light. And it was always there. It was just us that didn't know that kind of dirt was there. And so we're going to see more and more stuff that's been hidden, all these secrets, all these lies coming to the surface. And that's what we'll see in human behavior, right? So it's very important you walk your walk and stay in your own lane this month, and try to live a life that you don't have to lie about. You know, it's it's interesting what we choose to bury in our lives, and cover it with shame and anger and push it down. Well, you might notice your emotions feeling all over the place and not necessarily know what it is. Well, what's been trapped within you that's coming to light? right? And you'll notice it maybe in little memories here and there. It's like, why am I thinking about that? Well, that energy is pulling at you, it's calling to you. So, the greatest thing that you can do is delve into your healing at this time on a personal level. Now, on a natural level, let's go to Mother Earth. So, during the time of an eclipse, they say to listen to the sounds, turn all the noise off, and listen to nature. If you can be out in nature on Monday, and you're in, anywhere near the line of eclipse or line of totality, um, listen to what happens to nature. From what I understand, crickets will start chirping, and you know, birds will go quiet. It's almost like it's nighttime again, right? So it does disrupt a natural rhythm, which creates a ripple effect. And if you look at the collective consciousness and where we're at right now, how do you feel? Doesn't it feel like you're ready, you're boiling, like something, like we're just waiting on the cusp of something, but you don't quite know what it is, right? Well, that's what earthquake energy feels like to me. It feels like this mounting, mounting, mounting energy, and then poof, you explode. Well, if that's happening on a personal and collective scale, you better believe it's happening in nature because we're affected by nature. Of course, we are. We are water. No wonder the moon affects us, right? Lunacy, lunatics, where does that come from, right? The tides change around the moons, the cycles of the moons. And so, of course, we will also change in our emotions and what comes up, all of that. So we're facing some crazy lunar energy and unearthing some crazy truths at this time that feel almost mind blowing or unreal that humanity could do atrocious things. But this is where we're at, guys. And so things need to change, and we can't change it if we don't know it's there. So this is why this dirt needs to rise to the surface and be to be seen. Um, so yes, I do expect there to be some more earthquakes. Uh, if it's not if it's not Monday, I'd feel a ripple effect of the energy going like this. So possibly in a week or two, even after the eclipse, um, maybe a week, maybe not two. But they also say to watch out for the energy is 6 months later. So we'll have to wait and see about that. But the energy to me, when I feel into it, it feels very strong, very potent. And now, where is the potency coming from? It's not just the eclipse, it's this expectancy within humanity. Because each and every one of us has a frequency within us. And when we're constantly going poof, poof, poof in fear, and you know what I'm talking about, it happens in here that, oh, that happens when you just had the crap scared out of you or you're running on adrenaline. That's an energy that actually goes out into your field, which goes out into the collective. And we all meet up in the collective, right? That's why I don't really like pumping out fear. Um, yeah, or fear mongering, but I will give you guys a heads up on what I see and the temperature of the energy. You know, if I see it, I'll say it because I believe that if spirit shows me, it's for a reason, and it should be shared with the appropriate people that need to hear it. Okay. Thanks for joining, you guys. Okay, Philly Lotus 33. Is it likely that these earthquakes are being manipulated, not just natural? Absolutely. And it's crazy that you asked that because I have it written literally in my notes that there is weather manipulation going on. So let's talk about CERN, the the oh God, um, CERN. Anyways, the I know something collider. Anyways, look it up. CERN it hasn't been on in 2 years. All of a sudden, they're turning CERN on the same day as the eclipse. And if you've ever seen the ceremony for CERN. It was quite demonic. It was very, very evil. Um, so I find that very interesting. What are they trying to do? What are they trying to open? Because CERN, what they say is that it's they have it for the exploration of the universe and how it works. They don't even know what they're opening. They technically don't know. And that's why it's there. It's holodron collider. Anyways, the word keeps going over in my head, but yet I can't pull it out. Um, so I find that very interesting that they're turning CERN on. They're also NASA is shooting 3 rockets in between the sun and the moon at the same time of the eclipse. So they're messing with a lot. Humanity seems to be messing with a lot. And I don't know what gods they're trying to tick off, but it just doesn't feel right to me. As a remote viewer and as a psychic, it doesn't feel right to me what they're doing. It does feel very evil, but it almost feels like evil was really unleashed. Let me go back to that. Because if you watch my videos back in 2020, my 2020 predictions video, I said, I can feel Hitler's consciousness coming back on Earth. And I talked a lot about Hitler's consciousness because Hitler was an energy. You have to understand, he would think of him as like a legion of demons that entered a human body, okay? That had their own will, their own agenda, that they attracted all these other people that thought it was okay to try and wipe out a human race. Like, that is messed up. And to try and take over the world with that ideology. That ideology, it's an energy that can enter the minds and hearts, and did, of all these people across the globe, really, who thought that what Hitler at one point was doing was okay. Until people turned around and said, wait a minute, what is he actually doing here? But how long did it take humanity to jump on the right path to stop what he was doing? Think of all of his victims, right? Well, that's an energy that came to wipe out a sect of humanity. That's evil. That's evil, evil, evil. So in 2020, I kept saying I can feel that Hitler's consciousness coming back. And if you look at what we went through, and that was in January of 2020, I said that, before we even heard the C word. And when you look at what we were deprived of, told to stay home unless you had a passport, the right passport, you weren't allowed into certain establishments. You weren't allowed to participate in society. That was an ideology that in this day and age we actually had to live through. And I'm sitting here going, what the heck? And humanity walked towards it. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, how do people not see the energy behind this? How do they not see what they're feeding into? Right? So I think humanity still has a lot to learn and wake up from. But if there's one thing that I've learned that spirit keeps showing me, we're here for this time for a reason, you guys. We're here to experience this for a reason. So I do believe that we have been strategically placed all over the world to experience the calamity of these years and the next few years because they're not going to be pretty. A lot's going to change in 2025. Mark my words, 2025 doesn't feel good. Neither does 2030. Agenda 2030, that timeline, humanity is walking into that slaughterhouse right now. And hopefully people will wake up and understand the 2030 UN agenda is not a good agenda. We'll see. We'll have to live through it to see, right? Okay. Where was I? Sorry, guys. I think I went on a rant. Oh, okay. Um, Sunshine Trail. What do you see happening with the British royal family, especially Kate Gate? Um, Thank you. Okay, she's vaxxed to the nines. They all are. It's turbo cancer, and mind you, she will have the best medical care, better than you or I ever would. Um, with her medical care. So I will pray for her, but I think that there is some dirty karma coming up in that family. And if you look at the recent news with P. Diddy, the royal family is all in this. It's all connected. It's all connected. It's all connected. And the whole house of cards is coming down. And Prince Harry is a part of this. Prince Andrew got busted and didn't get away with it, right? Will Prince Harry get away with it? Will William and Kate get away with it? It's a thing. It's a thing. It's part of a much bigger organization than you or I could ever think of. Because when I went to go and look into this, all I saw was a web of names. So I'm going to drop some names here for you guys. I'm be brave enough to do this because we got to stop supporting these people with their music. We got to stop supporting these people with their movies. Be careful what you're listening to. Be careful what you're watching. That movie, Leave the World Behind, that the Obamas produced, was such predictive programming. It made me want to throw up in my mouth. I was literally pausing it every 5 minutes and explaining to my family, this is predictive programming and this is why. Let me pull this scene apart for you. It was so bad. And so, but people watch it, right? It's by viewership that they're going to get more and more and more. So even if you're curious about it, don't put that crap in your consciousness, because it's a timeline that they're just showing us what they want to happen, right? So let's talk about the web. So um, P Diddy is a very small player in a big game, very big game, and there's victims and then there's perpetrators within that game. Clive Davis, a man by the name of Clive Davis, absolutely sits on top. Um, there's a pile of them that are all involved. So when I started to tune in, who's involved in this, right? I could literally name after name. Ellen DeGeneres is one of the longtime queens in that group. Sex trafficking, child sex trafficking, all of that. John Travolta, Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey's already done time in jail. Well, I'm sure you've seen the pictures of him sitting on the Queen's throne with Ghislaine Maxwell. They're all a part of it. It's all, these are, I believe, Epstein's, not just Epstein's clients, but they have their own little operations going on within a big organization. And when it comes to celebrities uh, in the music industry, we've got Lady Gaga. These are all part of a really, really bad organization that I truly believe the house of cards is going to fall because certain people are going to talk, right? Because certain people didn't want to do what they were forced to do to be in the big boys club. So certain people will chirp like a bird. Um, Oprah Winfrey is a big queen pin, you guys. Oprah Winfrey is not a good woman. She was already sued in Africa for child trafficking and child abuse. So, like, she's already been busted, but not busted on her own soil. So, Oprah Winfrey's, and you look at who she was been friends with, right? Um, Harvey Weinstein, um, Beyonce and Jay Z. Mark my words, they should be in jail. Honestly, they should be in jail. And Jennifer Lopez, I believe, will get recalled to for a murder that she knows about. I do believe that she's gonna either come forward about with the information or she'll be forced to come forward about information that she knows. But I do believe that there's that her and P Diddy are involved in a murder. When I looked into them, they got blood on their hands. Like, it's a sick club. in Hollywood. It really, really is. It's a sex trafficking, pedophilia, satanic. It's, and I hate to sound, I know I sound exactly like a conspiracy theorist, but like when I started remote viewing the P. Diddy circle and going, it was literally like it was a web that just opened up of names that I went, oh my God. And I used to listen to their music, right? Sam Smith, I can't even listen to his voice because I can feel the demons coming out of his voice. Um, he is not aligned with anything that is positive. I even believe that there are certain that he attunes his music to certain frequencies for mind control. And yes, there are celebrities that do that. Remember back in the 80s when certain bands would embed satanic messages backwards into their music. So if you listen to it backwards, you could hear the message, subliminal messaging. It is people actually do this stuff. Katy Perry, um, Prince Harry and the royal family. I have that written on here. Kevin Hart as well. Madonna, Gwen Stefani. Look up Marina Abramovic, spirit cooking. Go down that rabbit hole because you'll start to see pictures of her with some of these celebrities. And so I really feel that this information is coming to the surface to be cleansed, to be dealt with, for the victims to have justice. I believe it's time. It's redemption time. It really is. And karma's coming around. And I want you to think of the last 4 years. Think of the last 4 years. Think of where you were 4 years ago and think of where you are now. Doesn't that feel like a million miles away? Doesn't that feel like 10 lifetimes in between has happened in the last 4 years? Think about that, right? It's an energy. Okay. Um, I heard just Tucker Carlson is going to interview Justin Trudeau's half brother, and that guy is expected to spill some beans. I can't wait either. So I got to tell you, and I'm nervous because June is coming. I'm very transparent about my predictions. If I say something, I want to hold myself accountable. And so last year I heard it. It was just I wasn't trying to tune in. It wasn't during a reading. It was just one of those random tidbits that was whispered in my ear from beyond that said that Justin Trudeau would have to leave office with his tail between his legs. Those were the words I got. His tail between his legs by June of 2024. June, I'm thinking the end of June 2024 when I feel for it, but June 2024, that's just around the corner. So what has to come to light to get that guy out? I would assume charges because he's such an arrogant, narcissistic jerk that he won't step down. He's one of those dictators that would never do the right thing. And I think that that's why his wife left him. I also believe that she left him because she knew dirt is coming up. She knows that he's done some big wrongs and that he will be held accountable. I believe that um, there are things that we don't know that she knew and she's worried about. I definitely pick up that sensation that um, she didn't just leave him for the pediatrician, which she did, but that was one of the reasons. The other reason was the heat was on, so she was finally leaving for her lover. I really hope that Tucker Carlson does interview him. I really, really do. That I'd pay to see that interview. Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to look at some of the comments. Yeah, I feel the more he clings to power, the harder will be his fall. Yeah, I think so too. Hard drawn collider. Thank you, Chris Hansel. Hadron Collider. That was so inside of I heard that in my head, but for the life of me, it wouldn't come out of my mouth. Thank you. Large Hadron Collider. Thank you. Are they trying to open a dark portal? Probably. They're messing with something. I can feel the energy. But here's the weird thing. Earth right now feels like it's mounting. Do you guys not feel that energy? Like every day, it's like, oh gosh, what are we walking into? To me, it feels like that. Um, okay. Oh, I will tell you guys something. Okay, for anybody who does want to watch the eclipse, because I'm not telling you not to. I'm not telling you not to, because I watched the one in 2017, and I can't say my life's been cursed or anything, and my life got better, at way even more better. And I watched it with Paul Elder, my teacher, who taught me remote viewing at the Monroe Institute. He showed us how to make glasses in order to see it, and we all watched it. But I can't remember how to do it, so don't ask me. But I was watching a video that said, okay, go get yourself a pail of water, or something reflective like a puddle, right? And set up your camera so that you're filming the puddle, because the image will be in the puddle. The reflection will be in the puddle. And I thought that that was quite brilliant, a really cool way to be able to record it and watch it instead of staring at it. You don't want to burn out your eyes. I hope nobody is silly enough to do that. Okay. Oh, Kate. Okay. Maybe she committed suicide. No, I don't think that she did. But Sonia says, "What spirit showed me was that she's in a coma or dead. I couldn't tell." Yeah, I have to say, I do believe that they're using actors instead of her right now, and that's why they did the photo shopping, which they got busted for. Like, why did they even bother trying? And then their excuse was even more lame. So, but I do believe that she's a lot sicker than what they're telling people, and I do believe that those were actors that they used for the outings that she's done. Okay. Takia says, as I healed myself, I started to set intentions and put what I intuitively felt into action. And as a result, my life began to change dramatically. Thank you, as always. Yes, you're right. And what a beautiful reminder. Thank you, because I actually have that written on my little notes as well, that we can't feed into fear. Listen, it's either faith or it's fear. Neither one is tangible. Neither one we can hold on to. We have to believe in it, right? Why does this world move so easy towards fear when really at the end of the day we have nothing to fear? It's our path. And when you realize that you're here to complete a mission, it changes everything. It really does. And it makes it easier to understand that you're being used, um, as a source of light in this world that really desperately needs it. Okay. Okay, XOXO says Sam Smith, my then 10-year-old, saw his opening performance and said he is releasing the spirits and ran to his room. Amen. Absolutely. Your kid's right. Your kid's a seer. You gotta listen to your son. He knows what he's talking about, because it's a ritual, it's a performance. And it's very hypnotic, it's trance-like, and I do believe he's using his music with subliminal messaging behind it, because the soul is the consciousness, is the eternal thought form that is you. Even when we astral travel, you travel at the speed of thought. Your thoughts are your currency. Your thoughts are worth its weight in gold. It's a currency, right? It's a frequency. So even data mining nowadays, guess what they're doing? Data mining is based off your thoughts. They want to know your thoughts. They want to know what makes you tick. So they can sell you more, so they can subliminal message the crap out of you more. They want to know you. They want to know you. I truly believe that's even why 23andMe and uh, 23andMe and Ancestry.com are out there. It's data mining, 100% data mining. And you look at who just recently purchased, I believe it was 23andMe, I think it's BlackRock or Vanguard. It was one of those scary companies. Why do they want to know all of our information? What are they going to do with it? They know our genetic code. The minute they know our genes, they know the frequency that we resonate at. Because each and every one of us, think of it as your own personal mailbox, right? And when they know your frequency, they know your address, they know how to get to you individually. And so you watch the technology that will come out of this data and this information because they can target one individual instead of a whole house or a whole stadium. Anyways, that's in the future. Okay. Yeah, Shannon, the energy feels like it's massively pulsating. It does. It really does. So, the greatest thing that we can do is stand in our power and exude the peace that we're here to emit, right? There, like I said, there's a reason why we're here, there's a reason why we're going through it. And if you want to manifest your best life, I was just explaining this to a client earlier today. You know, if you want to manifest abundance, you got to get clear on what that abundance looks like to you. Is it money? Is it love? Is it home? What do you want money for? If you need money, what do you want money for? Tell the universe. Is it to pay your bills? Is it to buy a new car? Is it to buy a new house? Because it may not come through the energy of the money that you're thinking of income that way. It may come through as, I don't know, someone passing away and leaving you their house, or, um, you getting the car of your dreams at a really good deal at an auction that was like, oh my God, I can't believe I scored that. You don't know how the universe is going to align things for you to happen, but you have to get clear on what you want. So the greatest thing that you can do is literally start to visualize yourself in that car. Visualize the smell of the leather and the, steering wheel in your hands. Get as clear about what you want and as intentional as humanly possible. Steve, tell your Mercedes story. It was actually a BMW story. Okay, I will. Okay, this is a crazy one. So when I was nursing, I had a cheap piece of crap Saturn that I was driving. But um anyways, it was my work car. So when I was nursing, I had left it out on the street, and yeah, the place that I was working wasn't the greatest area. Well, it got keyed and they wrote explicits all over my car. And so I had to drive around with swear words on all over the side of my car until I figured out what I was going to do. Well, in the meantime, um, I left nursing, still had the car, and to cut a long story short, I ended up leaving nursing and purchasing a holistic wellness center in Calgary, Alberta called Our Angel Center for Wellbeing. And it was the grace of God, even how I got my shop. I had just started doing readings, and the little place by my house that I had just started doing readings out of, I got really busy fast. And so the lady said to me, she's like, hey, you want to go 50-50 with me on this business? Um, uh, she goes, because I'd love to semi-retire. So I said, okay, what's your price? I'll think about it. Well, in the meantime, I had went to go buy a spiritual book at Our Angel Center for Wellbeing. It was my favorite little, um, my favorite little holistic new age store. And it was already 7 years old. Ellie Jamart, who's my personal angel. She owned it, created it. And when I walked in to go buy a book, I got talking to her. And so I started asking her questions because I knew they had readers and stuff in there. And I said, how is the business? Is it hard to run? Blah, blah, blah. And I told her, what this lady offered me. And she goes, I just decided to retire last week. She says, I was just going to put this place up for sale. And she said, I'll give you the whole place for that price. So I bought it on a handshake right then and there. And I had the faith, which was crazy, that business loans and everything would go through because all of a sudden I'm going to do this. Well, it was the grace of God that the business loans went through, but I actually bought it on my credit card to begin with. So it really was the grace of God that the business loans went through. And even those shouldn't have gone through because I had spent 2 years on disability because I have something called erythromelalgia and I have bad nerve damage in my legs. And so I was off in bed. By the time I put the keys in the door of our angels, I was 210 pounds walking with a cane. And but I bought my cure. In that shop, in that wellness center, she had a pile of different holistic modalities that she was doing in there, and Rife therapy was one of them. So I decided, okay, if I'm gonna promote this for the practitioners, I guess I better learn what it is and how it works. So, anyways, it literally healed my neuropathy. I shed the pounds. I got my happy back. I got my joy back. And so back to the car. So I'm driving this piece of crap car and I'm owning this beautiful business. And now I want to manifest me a BMW. It was a particular model that I wanted. And this was in 2005, or it was a 2005 model that I loved. And I bought the car in 2010. So I'm learning how to manifest. And I have about $5,000 in my bank account. That's all I could spend. And I really wanted a BMW. Like, how crazy was that? So I was learning about manifesting. And the rule is to really get into it, like to smell. If it's a car that you want, smell the leather, feel it on your bum, feel like you're actually in it because it will align your field of energy with that timeline, right? So I decided to start looking just because I want to manifest. So I went to Crowfoot Chrysler of all places, has the BMW that I really, really wanted. They had a flyer that went around. And in the flyer, the BMW was, I think it was either 13.9 or 14.9. And it was 5-year-old, fully loaded, beautiful BMW. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to look around. I want to test drive it and feel myself driving this car. And so I go in, and apparently the salesman that was going to help me ends up going home sick. So the manager takes me for the test drive. And as we're driving, his deceased grandmother starts coming through, and I start channeling my butt off with his dead grandmother. We pull over the side of the road, and it was about 2 hours that because she wouldn't stop talking. So at the end of it, this manager is like snotty bawling, saying, Patricia, the car has to be yours. The car has to be yours. It has to be yours. And I said, well, to be honest with you, literally, I can show you my bank balance. All I have is $5,000. And that piece of crap Saturn, that's not even worth 500. And he says, let's go back. The car is yours. So he did whatever he had to do with the numbers of the Saturn in order to get me the BMW. But that's how I manifested my first BMW, fully loaded. Loved that car. Loved that car. And so I truly believe in it because we can align with our greatest joy, our highest timeline. It's just stepping into that field of energy and it opens up for you. So, and that's just one of the things that I've manifested. Oh, I'll tell you another one. I'll tell you another one. This is funny, actually. So, my husband got myself, him, and our 3 boys bikes this one year. And so I haven't been on a bike since I was like 12 years old, but yes, we'll go for a family bike ride. Well, we're riding and I keep complaining because my bum is so sore. I'm like, I need a memory foam uh cushion for my tush. I said, because this is killing me. Like it was literally like the way the seat was made was just awful and it was killing me sitting on it. And I was like, I almost felt like I was gonna get bruises. So, anyways, my husband says to me, I said, I'm gonna manifest. I said, you watch. I'm gonna manifest. Because he's like, where are you gonna get one of those? He's like, they don't even make those memory foam bike seats. I'm like, I'm sure they do. They've got to make them. Like, there's something's got to be more comfortable than this piece of crap, right? So we're now driving or riding our bikes into the parking lot of Fish Creek Park. And lo and behold, I kid you not, brand new memory foam bike seat still in the plastic, just sitting there in the parking lot. My family just roared laughing. And for me, it was like, you see what my angels do? They're always listening. They're always flying with me, even on this shitty bike ride. And it literally memory foam bike seat. And so that was another really cool manifestation that was dropped from my bum. It was neat. Oh, Care Bear Gratitude. I remember that shop in Marta Loop. It was great. Yes, it was amazing. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I bought it on a handshake and I sold it on a handshake. I sold it um, in 2014, I believe it was. But yeah, I loved it. Loved, loved, loved it. And then I decided to go out on my own. It was a lot. We had 27 different practitioners working under me and paychecks and scheduling and invoices and product and then readings and missing person cases and family. So yeah, it was a lot. So now I'm in charge of my schedule and I don't have to worry about any other person. It's just wonderful. It's wonderful. Okay, let me see here if there's any other questions. Okay, why haven't we seen the kids, William and Catherine's kids? Are they okay? Good question. Um, Good question. I didn't think of that. No, and when you ask that, no, they don't feel okay. They don't feel okay. Um, but I think that could also what I'm picking up is um, the fear that they are probably feeling about their mother, about what's going on. Because no, the British family is not telling the truth about what's going on with her or the extent of what's going on with her. Heather, do you see the US being divided physically on the map, like from big earthquakes broken apart? No, I don't. No, I don't. I heard about that theory, but no, I don't see that. But I think that California is due for a big earthquake. Our phones listen. That's why we talk about something. Then pop Facebook, Amazon. We talk. Yeah, absolutely, Christina. I do believe it's really creepy. It's data mining. They want to know everything that we're thinking. Okay, I have another tidbit to share with you guys. So, because I've been asked about people, I notice patterns in my readings or with my clients. And three times people said to me this week, they said, tell me when I'm going to win the lottery. And I was like, girl, you do not want to win that lottery. So let me explain that. Let me explain where the money comes from, where the energy comes from. Money is a representation of our physical time, energy, thoughts, concentration. We pay attention, right? And it pays us in return. Money is the representation of the time we've lost with our family, the time that we were being a slave to our job. Maybe if we like it, it's a paid hobby. But most people don't. Most people are very stressed out right now about money because they have a lack of it, right? So it's an energy. And if you don't like the way you're making the money's not going to make money for you because it is an energy, right? So put that comment aside for a second. Back to the lottery. So had these few people saying, "When am I going to win the lottery?" And I said, You do not want to win the lottery. Think of what the lottery is fueled from. It's fueled from broken dreams. It's fueled from people usually on welfare or lower income giving their last $5 hoping they'll win the 10 million, which they never do, right? People will actually take their last 10 bucks and spend it on the lottery and not bring home the milk or the bread for the kids. Becomes an addiction. So it's also fueled from addiction, lost hopes, dashed dreams when they don't win and they don't see their numbers come up, right? It's an energy. So, what happens when you win? Let me tell you what happens when you win because I've read for three winners. And each one of them, it destroyed their lives totally. And one of the winners that I read for, I actually predicted her winning the lottery right down to the day that she won it. Actually, the 2 days. I told her November 27th, you're going to buy the ticket. December 2nd, you're going to find out you won. And it was $7 million. 7 million bucks. Not only is she still working full time, the money's gone and it destroyed the relationships with the people in her family. It's an energy. I warned her to be careful with how that money was spent, right? It's an energy. So you don't really want that currency. You want to create your own wealth through your hobbies, your ideas, something that is fueled from your passion. That's the best way to make money. What do you love to do? What brings you joy? And then find a way to make it into a paid gig, right? I was born to talk. And in my house, that's the ongoing joke. People pay to hear me talk. My family's like, "Yeah, we pay you to shut you up." Right? What are you really good at that you could make an extra buck at? That the world needs from you? What special gift flows through you? Because for me, when I opened up to the divine, the messages started pouring in. I never thought in a million years anyone would want to listen to me. So, what are you sitting on that you're just unaware of, or you've put it on the back burner for so long you forget you're good at it? Pull that out. Pull that out. Because 2024 is a year of activity, it's a year of movement. You can feel that mounting energy that's happening out there, right? Work with it, not against it. It's just like what Mother Teresa said, don't be against war, be for peace. It's an energy, it's a currency, right? Versus this. So when we change what we're looking at, change the way we're looking at it, the reality around us changes as well. Because when you step out of fear and into faith, you begin to exude that, and the other people around you that are listening to you, feeling your frequency, they feel it too. And they'll feel that relaxation instead of fear. They'll feel that peace. So align yourself with peace and watch your reality change. Lenny. Oh, Lenny, good to see you on here. My 1-year old grandson was laughing and communicating with some sort of apparition above him today. I found it amusing as he has been labeled on the spectrum and does not really talk to us. I gotta tell you, these kids that are on the spectrum or nonverbal, they're teaching us another level of communication. They're teaching us back to our original language, which was telepathy, right? So I truly believe that these children are brilliant. We just need to find a way to create the space for them to understand their gifts and abilities. Um, yeah, I think that they carry a very high frequency within them. All children deserve the best life. Children are so precious. Absolutely. Linda says it is through peace we shall find peace. 100%. It's where we're vibrating with. It totally is. Another thing that I can hear spirit wanting to talk about is plant medicine. Let's go there for a second. So, in Alberta, the Liberal government is getting ready to legalize and has already partially legalized um, plant medicine such as MDMA, ketamine, psilocybin, um, for the treatment of PTSD. And I got to tell you where I stand on that. So I believe that psychedelics can absolutely not only alter your resonance, obviously alter your consciousness, right? Because then you're now seeing hallucinations. But it also does provide a way for you to see through the grid and to see into other dimensions, other realities, speak to different spirit beings or other interdimensional beings. Um, but what people got to realize is your body, your meat suit that houses the spirit, it should only be housed by your spirit and the Holy Spirit. I mean that. Your higher self, God, Creator. We should not be channeling interdimensional beings that have their own um, will, their own agenda. Um, yes, Raro says most people are not ready to take psychedelics. Absolutely. Thank you. That's where I was going with this. Because it can leave a person possessed or psychotic. It can alter you in ways that I think that a lot of people are not ready for. And I say that because when you're taking, for example, like an Amazonian drug like ayahuasca, you're actually connecting to the spiritual energy of that drug as well. And it has its own resonance, its own lessons that you then are putting into your body for your mind, body, and soul to resonate with. And so I just believe that therapists that are bringing into their practice, they really need to take a look at the spiritual side of things because it can be a very dark hole that they get themselves into. Because when your consciousness is blasted out of your body, moved to the side, it does leave your vessel open for something else to come in. Now, if a client already has entities within them, but it has been rendered as psychosis or bipolar or whatever else they want to tag it with, but we'll say it is entities. Those entities, once that door has been opened through the psychedelics, those entities can be released and actually hop on to practitioners. And I'm not kidding when I say this. And I know that there are certain people that this has already happened to. And so I really encourage you if there's any psychologists that are watching this that are, doing this now for Alberta Health Services, just be careful. You got to know that there are spiritual repercussions for opening up um, in that way. And I just think, yeah, very low vibrational beings can attack or take over. Exactly, Christina and Anon. It's yeah, it's a can of worms not meant to be opened. I agree. I agree. I agree. And it can seem like all peachy keen and it's wonderful and you have the greatest experiences the first few times. But the deeper you go, that's when the mask comes off. So be very careful because for me, only being that I let in me is me and the Holy Spirit. That's it. That's it. Anything else that wants to talk to me actually has to stand in that corner. So I have my little rocks over there and my little got my selenite on the window and but yeah, I don't ever let anything enter me ever. Because that can be a voice that you just can't turn off. So and the craziest thing is that spiritually, it feels like things are mounting in the spirit realm, in the heavens. It feels like there is quite the storm happening up there. So of course, what happens there is going to happen here, whether it's our consciousness that aligns with it and picks it up, or whether we see it out in society or in the literally in the weather. There's a ripple effect to this energy that we're moving into right now. Do I believe in reincarnation? Holly asks. You know, it's interesting because I was brought up a born again Christian. And my mother always said, no, once to die and then the judgment. There's no such thing as reincarnation. And that didn't sit well with me. It really didn't. Because when I was a kid, I kept having these memories of Auschwitz. I could tell you what the inside of the gas chambers look like. I could tell you, I could draw out the whole schematics of where all the buildings were and everything ever since I was a kid. And I would have that reoccurring nightmare. That one, and then in my teens, I would have another one where I was a soldier in the woods and I'm trying to get my way back to my little cabin. And I know my wife is in there. And when I look down at my outfit, I'm wearing a brown military. So I know I'm military myself or in the army, whatever. Um, a brown suit and a black sash here and black belts and black boots. And I'm running to my little wooden cabin, looking behind me to make sure that no one has followed me. And I get into the cabin, and there's this woman with long, dark, braided hair down her back. And she looks about 8 or 9 months pregnant. And she's wearing a white nightgown. I can still see it completely clearly. And she's standing there barefoot in front of the window. And I go up behind her. I put my arms around her belly. And in my head, I knew that was my child that was in her womb. I know it sounds weird, but and then she's looking out the window. She goes, they're coming, they followed you." And next thing I know, the doors kicked in. And I remember them wearing red and white. So I'm assuming this has to do with the Brits or something over there, which is interesting because I am Irish. They pull me out and they pull her out one way and they pull me out another way. And I remember being with my hands behind my back. I was on my knees and literally right in the forehead, boom. And I could feel myself fall to the right. And as I'm falling to the right, I could feel that big stretch almost pulling me out of my body as I'm falling this way. And I'm looking down at the situation. I know they kill her, but I see my body go limp and then I wake up. Well, the interesting thing is, I think it was Michael Newton um, who said that sometimes like the way people die, it'll come out as scars or birthmarks or whatnot. I don't know if you guys can see it. You see that little indent in my forehead? I was born with that. I don't know if you can see it. Anyways, I was born with that. And that's where I was shot. And I remember it just went black and it was peaceful. And next thing I know, I'm flying. And I remember flying as a kid. I remember astral traveling all the time when I was a kid. So do I believe in reincarnation? Firsthand, I think I do. I really do. Where did these memories come from? Mind you, the only other explanation that I can think of is that I have access to someone's big, deep memories and it's imprinted because it came at me and I've never been able to get it out of my head. I had it constantly dreaming about it for the longest time. And Really, it makes no other sense other than reincarnation. What do you think about CERN? I watched a video where this scientist is saying they're involved in invoking Shiva destruction entity. Um, it's interesting that you say that because it does feel like destructive energy that is being invoked. So that would make sense, and it is evil. Look up CERN's opening ceremony, and you'll see just how evil this cult is. You guys, there is something so much bigger than our governments and our little puppets that are parliamentarians. There's something so much bigger going on, something spiritual. That just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. And I cannot stress that enough because our eyes are only meant to see this much of the spectrum of this reality, right? Can't see all the microwaves and infrareds and all the crap that's going through your room. But if you flick your light off, the light will turn off. You can't see the electricity that turns it on, but it works when you flip it up. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. So, yeah, I do believe that there's a big spiritual war. And could they be invoking things? Here's the other thing that we need to be careful of. I've said it numerous times. I'm worried that the US is on the brink of getting pulled in um, to World War III, something to do with Iran. And this needs to stop because I believe that there is some lone actors that are going to be playing this out. Um, I can just feel the heat behind it. Now, like I've said before, it's going to take some time before we see that. I can feel the war in the heavens, but before it comes into the 3D, it takes time because we live in that dimension ruled by time and weight and length and all that, right? So to me, I would think more towards the end of this year and 2025. Something not good 2025. Okay, let me see. Christine says, "You believe in reincarnation? My daughter could talk about everything Titanic, and my son is all about 9/11. Believe they both experienced these disasters. The way they speak about them being so young, yeah, I believe it. And for any parents out there with kids that are like 5 and under, that's the best time to do this. But get them, cozy right before bed, story time. And instead of reading a book to them, go and tell them, okay, I want you to make up a story tonight. I want you to tell me all about when I was little and you were big. Tell me that story. They'll tell you the story of your past life with them and how they know you. It is so trippy. So, because it's still, they just came from there. It's still in their mind. It's still in the subconscious where you can access it. It's as they build more and more and more files with each day moving into this realm that they forget. So, yeah, definitely try and have that conversation with them. Oh, thank you, Holly, for watching. Lenny says the Talmud says the war of Gog and Magog is Iran versus Western civilization. It's dangerous. I don't even know why anyone's given men like these the power to do anything. Like this is so ridiculous in this day and age that we still have war. Even the only thing that I can think of is what for them what good comes out of it? Well, wealth redistribution, lower world population, you know, redistribution of power, redistribution of land. And it just feels like everything that's happening right now does have a sick agenda behind it. And they're only allowing us to see what they want us to see, especially in Canada. We can't even watch the news on any sort of social media platform. We can't watch it. I don't turn my TV on anymore. I haven't since COVID because it was so fear mongering. I just wanted to throw my my shoe at it every time I turned it on. So I haven't turned it on since. And so really, I don't know what's. what's going on out there. And I certainly wouldn't get it from the mainstream media. I wouldn't use that as a source of truth because they've proven to be the worst liars over and over and over. So this is where our discernment needs to come forth, right? We need to be able to feel our truth and know it when it hits our body. Um, Let me break that one down really quick. There's a big difference between I know and I think. I know my name is Patricia. I think my name is Patricia. Always test your truth, your information, because I know is a solid statement with no other alternatives. I think gives other alternatives, and it could be this or it could be that, but it's not really the truth. The truth's in there somewhere, right? Know truth when it hits your body. It's a solid statement. Truth brings you strength. So stand in your truth, speak your truth, live your truth, be your truth. Show up being the best authentic self that you can. That's what this world needs. Doesn't need a bunch of followers. We've seen that over the last 4 years. We need true, authentic people ready to speak their truth and be heard. Whether that's in your home, your community, or doing something like this, I encourage you, don't keep it in, speak your truth. Okay. 2025 is going to be the most amazing year of my life. Set that intention, Steve. Absolutely. Oh, and speaking of amazing, oh, Steve, you're literally reading the thoughts in my mind. I just wanted to mention to you guys, I just got back from an amazing psychic awareness retreat in Sedona, Arizona, and I'm doing another one. So if you guys want to come with me, it's a small group. It's only 19 people that I'm taking, but it's in Sedona, Arizona. It's the Psychic Awareness Retreat on from September 15th to the 20th. It is on my website if you want to check out prices and stuff. It's beautiful. It's five-star accommodations, the five-star food. We do different excursions every from 9 to 12, and then from 1 to 5 doing excursions every single day. There's activation in the desert. We do fireside chats in the evening with activations and stuff. So it's just it's an amazing um, it's an amazing experience to walk away with 19 brothers and sisters that at the end you feel like you've known your whole life. So come with me to Sedona if you can, September 15th to the 20th. Thank you, Steve, for throwing that up in the chats. Um, and for also throwing up my other classes in the chats. Yes, on Monday I have Awakening Your Psychic Senses. I love teaching you guys this stuff because I would rather teach myself out of a job by showing you guys where to get the information from, how to be able to download it, how to align your consciousness with that highest truth so that your accuracy is as great as possible, right? So join me on Monday's class, Awakening Your Psychic Senses. I give a lowdown on how I do my work, and then we do an activation meditation for you guys at the end. That's a great class. But the retreat, I'd love to see you guys there. I would love it. I have certain people on here that has watched me like almost from the beginning, and I thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sticking with my channel. And I would love, love, love to be able to give you a hug in person. So if you're game for meeting me in Sedona, it's a bucket list trip. I try to pack in as much stuff as I possibly can that would make it a bucket list trip. One once in a lifetime that nothing can top. I'm into that. So definitely come along. Um, Aw, Samira, the only teacher I know who truly wants us to learn everything she knows. Yeah, totally. Because then when you know it changes your reality, and that's how we change the world. One person, one reality at a time, right? It's all where we're resonating at. And so are the answers that you're looking for. And when you know the little ins, I guess, or what to look for, how to get it, it's like, oh my God, it changes your life. It really does. And it's a lot more simple than you think it is. I've got some great tools to show you guys how to tune in So thank you, Samir, for that comment. I really appreciate that. Okay, I know that um, there was another couple of questions. Throw up your last minute questions because what time is it? Okay, we'll give it just a few more minutes, and then I'm gonna go home. So hang on. What are your thoughts on U.S. elections? Okay, U.S. elections in November. Good question. Good question. So politics is a really awful energy to talk about, but and Joe Biden, I don't even think that's him half the time. That guy um, should be in a home. I do believe that he is losing his mind. He's losing his memory. And I believe that he's just a puppet in a much larger agenda. Um, I believe they all are. And that's why they're trying to fight against Trump so much uh, because Trump beats his own drum. He's a businessman. So if you guys in the States want America to thrive and have lower taxes, but better, stronger economy, your best bet is Trump. If you guys want truth and change, but yet I really don't believe that he'll get in, it's Robert Kennedy. Robert Kennedy? Yeah, I think that's the name. Yeah, Kennedy. I don't think he'll get in. His energy feels too small. It feels like it's again going to be up against um, Trump and Biden. And I'll tell you, the last election, I hesitate on giving predictions about this because I'm going to come out and say it. I was wrong about the last one. Like, I genuinely thought that Trump was going to win it. And a lot of people can say, well, yeah, he did, and that it was a stolen election. Yeah, but he didn't. At the end of the day, he didn't sit in office, right? But when I felt the energy of Trump at that last election, he it was huge. It was enormous compared to Biden's small. I remember thinking that Trump's energy felt like an ocean wave and Biden felt like this little creek. And that's how it presented itself to me. Um, but he didn't actually sit in office. So I believe that that was a stolen election. I do. Um, I believe that he goes against the World Economic Forum agenda and the Paris Accord and the UN 2030. He's against the globalists, Trump is. And Biden is a globalist. Same thing with Trudeau. That's why you'll start to see in America the crap that has pulled on us over the last 8 years. You're seeing it leaking into your country. There will be false flag events with guns that um, will, I think, at worst, create the crisis so that they can hand you the solution. So they can say, well, we're taking your guns away, because that's exactly what happened up here in Canada. And um, I really pray that Americans, you stick to your guns, hang on to them, because that's your defense mechanism, right? Like, we don't even have that up here. So be careful be careful how you vote. Okay. How do we help children who are seers? Um, help them to understand it, help them to pray and open up their connection. Uh, ask, explain to them about angels and teach them how to invoke them. Um, read them books with no pictures. Teach them to use their third eye. Tell them to imagine the story that they are being told. Tell them to imagine their day before they walk through it and live it, right? The keys to third eye development, it's your visualization, it's your imagination that society wants us to turn off, right? They don't want us thinking for ourselves because there's a lot of truth that we can align with through and see through our third eye, right? Um, when is our government collapsing? Well, I'm praying that my prediction about Trudeau by June 2024, I'm praying that there's truth that comes out there enough to get him out because he's as corrupt as it gets. It's literally scandal after scandal after scandal. He's taxing us to death. Everyone's had enough of him, but he's such a narcissist. He ain't stepping down. He's going to have to be forced out either through charges or something. Something's got to come out about him. Oh, Patricia, you didn't mention your 9D class. Okay, yes. Um, we just came across, well, actually, Steve, I think this next one could already be sold out. But, anyways, I'll tell you really quick about it. So, 9D transformational breath work. You got to come to the studio and do it. So, you got to be in Calgary. But what it is it's desensitization where you put on a blindfold, you wear a headset, and it's called 9D because there's 9 dimensions of healing embedded into the program. So they have um, binaural beats, they have affirmations, they have subliminal messaging. There's another guy explaining how the breath work, leading you through it. Then there's the music. There's all these different layers all into one, and it is boom, like literally energy shifting like I've never seen in my life. And so Nick Motichka and his wife Lindsay Motichka, they come from Sylvan Lake and they come and they teach it once a month. I ask them to because there's 12 different programs, so it's one different one each month. And yeah, the feedback on it is, oh my God, what was that? And when can we do it again? It is mind blowing. So, and if you're not in Calgary where you can experience it with me, definitely find a practitioner who does it in your area because it's like next level healing, like I've never seen. Okay, how do you break free from karmic relationships if it doesn't serve you anymore? Ah, Georgette. Bada boom, bada bing. Divine timing. Georgette's amazing. So definitely, definitely hook up with Georgette. Um, is there a way for you to PM Magda? Because that is just divine. That's amazing. Oh, I love you and pray for positive changes for myself and every person. Trudeau will go in the summer, tail between his legs. Yes, Chris. Absolutely. Steve, Flow State Designs. Yes, Flow State Designs is Nick's um, beautiful hemp um, t-shirt line. So flowstatedesigns.ca, I believe, is um, is his website. Okay, I'm gonna get going. And I love you guys for sticking with me all this time because I've been on here for almost an hour and 20 minutes. But you guys are awesome. And I hope I was able to answer your questions. Um, and yeah, let's do this again. We'll do this again sometime soon. I thank you so much for watching me watch my channel. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Um, and if you're interested in my retreat, definitely come with me. It's bucket list trip. You get to hang out with me in our pajamas. It's like a sleepover, a 5-day slumber party where you get to learn about this stuff. So when I say next level bucket list shit, oops, excuse me, it is. It really is. It's the greatest slumber party ever. Um, okay, and what else did I want to mention? My class on Monday. And also, I have a newsletter, by the way, so that you don't miss any of the updates. So that's on my website, www.patriciamona.com. Sign up so you don't miss anything, any big announcements, such as my new retreats that are coming up. So, anyways, God bless you guys so much and take care. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you on the next video. God bless, guys.